So once you've set everything out of the box, you get all this beautiful metal work to put together. These are the bottom legs that go under the bottom shelf, and these are the feet supports. So you do one each hand. They've got two slots in them, so you do one each hand so that the unused slot is facing inwards, and you just mount the feet, the foot frame, just tighten them up and give them a good crank. It's worth doing everything up good and tight when you first do it, because if the feet move once you put it all together, it's quite awkward to do it up again, tighten it all up later. So that's how the foot sits. The only thing that touches the ground is the underside of the padded suspension foot. So that will go on the carpet, and this will get bolted up to the underside. And to show you what the rest of them look like. So prior to putting the foot into the unit, you just screw in the threaded rod. And once that's in, you simply have to lift the shelf and push the rod in from the underside, like that. And once you've got that there, you simply screw the next leg on and tighten it up. As I say, tighten it up nice and tight. Make sure that the foot is nice and square, pointing to the front or back, depending on where you are. Tighten that leg really tight so that it holds the foot carefully in the correct position, because obviously once the unit is all loaded up, it gets pretty heavy and it's difficult to alter these things. There is an adjustment on the screw with a nut on the screw to allow you to change the height if the floor isn't perfectly level, and you should be able to do that after the rack is completed, but before you load it up, I'd suggest. Next job is to fill all of the legs with sand. I've used a kiln dried sand just because I didn't like the idea of there being any dampness in the legs, really. I don't know why. It's obviously metal, I don't suppose it really matters. They're all individual, 3 individual compartments, so you have to fill them all up separately. And you get sand everywhere, so you're going to need the hoover afterwards. Don't tell the wife you're doing it in the lounge. That's one, and we have to do all 6 legs, obviously on this level, because once the shelf is on the next level shelf, we won't be able to access them. So once all 6 legs are filled with sand and got a bit of a clean up, then you're ready to also you screw the inserts in as far as they can go, and then you're ready to put the next shelf on. Should have mentioned, all the shelves are the same, so all 3 shelves are exactly the same. These recesses are only used actually on the top shelf, so it doesn't matter which order you put them in, and we'll look at the sprung feet later, but they can be altered depending on the weight of the equipment you're putting on each shelf, so they're tailored to each particular piece of kit. So from here, we're going to screw on the next 6 legs. I've done it with the big units, so the power amps and things on the lower shelf, so I've used the big legs, and then I've got short legs to go on the next 2 levels. As with the level below, this is simply a question of threading the leg onto the stud bolt and giving it a good tighten up so that it's really tight, so nothing can move. So we do that with all 6 legs, and then we're back to our sand filling. Top shelf just sits on, so there's no lugs for it to sit through, so you have to line up the holes with the feet below. I did it by just doing one on one corner, getting the thread started like that. Once you've got 2 in. You can then put the rest in and tighten them up with the Allen key provided. Everything all tightened up, and the top screws, I find a bit of engineering from Sweden, is the top shelves which sit over the vibration feet and slot onto the mounts, and then it's got a little bit of suspension, which, as I mentioned earlier, these can be altered. So you can take these out and alter the numbers of springs you can see sit under there. I'll leave them all in for now. Each shelf has a level tab on it, so you can level it all up with the foot screws on.